the mobility parameters in bilevel ADR and hybrid construct. Degenerative disc disease is a very common source of disabling axial back pain, and we operate on people who have neurocompressive lesions, and the incidence or the numbers are less than 15%. But 85% of times we never have any kind of neurocompressive lesion, and there is no specific attempt to achieve a specific diagnosis. So we ADR surgeons, we tend to follow the holy grail of identifying the pain generators. So this is for the younger spine surgeons. You should understand the degeneration of the motion segment, and everything is symbiotic. The disc degenerates, the facet joint hypertrophies, and then it's a degenerative cascade in which they progresses from one stage to the other, and they all end up with facet joint hypertrophy, leading to the secondary canal neural foraminal stenosis, and then eventually subluxation of the facet joints. Along with that, the different stages of disc narrowing will happen. We all know that 67% of the lumbar lordosis is at L4, 5 and L5S1. We all know the lumbar lordosis, it changes with the posture, standing, sitting position, it's all different. We all know the lumbar lordosis changes with the age as well. We all know that there is different lumbar disc pressures in doing various activities, and we all know that sitting, supine, standing and everything, we all know that there are different pressures which are happening on the disc. And we all know that the disc has elastic recoil, it has got a compression, it has got axial loading, it has got force transmission, and load, how it transmits load. When we know that our lumbar spine is designed to move, then why we are doing fusions? Different types of fusions. There are T-lifts, there are O-lifts, there are X-lifts. We are taking out the movement segment from the lumbar spine, and it does has effect. And this paper over here, I will talk about more about the movement preservations and all. There are some spurious arguments, not only in India but all across the world, that it is an experimental procedure. Degenerative disc disease with an axial back pain is a very benign thing. You can manage it conservatively. It doesn't need a drastic surgery like a disc replacement. We need a long-term data. It's only indicated in axial back pain. Well, there are some surgeons who say that personally I don't believe in this procedure and I'm not convinced with this procedure at all, and it's simply too risky. So these are all the spurious arguments. There is no scientific data which backs to any of these. And we, in 2021, the International Society for the Advancement of Spine Surgery, they came up with a white paper. They did studied all the meta-analysis, the RCTs and everything, and they came up with a position statement. And the conclusions of that meeting were there is enough level 1 and level 2 evidence with long-term data which supports lumbar ADR is an alternative to a fusion. There were those with the exclusions as per FDA labeling should not be considered for arthroplasty. You cannot extend the indications of ADR to every type of degeneration, like grade 3 facet hypertrophy, you cannot do that. There is enough evidence and comparisons with meta-analysis which demonstrate positive outcomes and benefit with expanded two-level use. Based on the review available of the evidence-based literature, much of it is type 1, and up to 10 years, ISS strongly supports lumbar disc replacement as a very safe and alternative treatment to the fusions in an appropriately selected patients. So, to introduce, so lumbar disc replacement for a single level, we all know is a very effective treatment. Is replacement of 2 disc level controversial? We will see further. 3 or 4 level, as you can see in these images, we are still at the data collection and very analysis stages right now at this point of time. But yes, you can replace up to 4 levels of the lumbar disc. I will be talking about the viscoelastic devices in this paper over here. It's the second generation of devices. We are no longer doing a mechanical device like ProDisc, Chariot, Bagheera, and a lot of other mechanical devices. These are all single piece They are all designed like a block bush technique. They are all single piece. What you cannot see between these two metallic end plates is a viscoelastic core, and you can see the micro stabilizers over there. So the hypothesis when we were studying this was whether two-level disc replacement will improve functions while preserving the spine movements or not. So this was our research hypothesis, and this is a retrospective analysis and which was done by an independent examiner, and the clinical outcomes were recorded on VAS, back, radicular and ODI. The radiological outcomes were measured by using the COBS method. There were 108 patients, 51 women, 57 men between 2012 to 2015. All received ADR with LP ESP. LP ESP, initially they started off from FS spine, now it's with spine base. And we have a follow-up of at least 8 years. Most of the patients were done by the left retroperitoneal approach, but we did right-sided approach in 2 of the patients. The goal of this study was to evaluate the perioperative complications and also the functional outcomes of ADR. And these were the results. So two-level remained mobile in all. The range of movement was greater in the upper segment. Upper segment means either the L34 and L45. L34 and L45, when ADR was performed at these two levels, there was no difference in the type of movement which we achieved. But when we fused L5, when we replaced L5S1 and L45, we saw that the L5S1 was moving less. But in both type of ADR, L34, L45 or L45 and L5S1, we have seen that the movement at L45 was not affected at all, and that was clinically significant. These were the functional results. We have seen the significant improvement in the ODI, the improvement in the axial VAS, the radicular VAS symptoms, and the overall satisfaction improvement was there. The functional result, if the mobile segment, if I define what is a mobile segment, it should be at least 2 degrees of movement should be preserved. And we saw that there were 3 types of progressions. The construct where motion was preserved, and we have seen that it was in 74% of cases. In the construct where the motion was preserved only in the upper segment, that is L45, was 21% of cases, and where the movement was restricted was 5% of cases. There were no significant differences in terms of functional outcomes in all these 3 different kind of constructs in terms of VAS and ODI. Complications, we do had complications. One was osteolysis. Now this is widely debated all across the world amongst the ADR surgeons. You can see the loss of bone over there. Initially we thought it's some kind of a low-grade infection, but no, the reason was not low-grade infection. It was the formation of geodes in the vertebral body. A geode is a defect in the end plate from where the disc has herniated into the vertebral body. If a person is having geode formation, then they are most likely to have these kind of osteolysis, provided he doesn't have any kind of low-grade infection. We have seen 3 subsidence, and it always happened in the middle vertebra and in the superior end plate, which means the L45, and they were all implant related. And non-implant, we had 3 retroperitoneal hematomas. 1 patient we had got DVT, and then in 1 patient wound dehiscence, and subsequently in a long term she developed divarication of recti. We counseled her for the repair of anterior abdominal wall, but she was okay. And there was 1 left iliac vein injury which was managed intraoperatively, and we were able to repair the iliac vein. So multi-level ADR, it confirms that movements are preserved in 2 segments even after more than 9 years. In some, like in 5% of patients, we have seen that there was no movement, and we came to the conclusion that it happened due to improper placement of devices, and there was too much distraction of the disc height, which increases the ligamentous tensioning and the lateral annular balancing. So your device should be ideally placed so that they should be moved. The center of axis of the lumbar spine should be matching with the center of axis with the device. And the beauty of viscoelastic devices is that they have multiple center of rotations. Even if you are off by say up to 5 millimeters from AP, from midline, it can auto-stabilize itself. But that is not available with the mechanical devices. You have to be really accurate with mechanical. And this is our data at 9 years. You can see the normal center of rotations in the normal spine, and at L4-5 and L4-5, L5-S1, this is what we were able to measure. So nearly normal anatomical thing. So two-level ADR resulted in satisfactory functional outcomes. The range of motion was almost similar. At L3-4 and L4-5, we have, the conclusion is that at L5-S1, the range of movement was very limited, less than around 3 to 5 degrees only. The absence of movement at 1 or 2 level were not correlated with the poor functional outcome. The procedure is not devoid of any kind of pre-operative risk, and especially the vascular one, and if you're starting early, then you should have a vascular surgeon with you. We still need a prospective randomized study in multi-level ADRs.